Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Michigan here with another tank review for you. And in true fashion, I'm starting with all of the low tiers. You've already seen the T115. Here is the Cromwell Applique thing. I don't know how to pronounce it, and I'm not going to try any harder. Now, when I looked at the statistics of this tank, I was a little curious as to why people were giving it such a bad rap. And there's a couple of statistics that aren't great, but there's others that are pretty decent. However, the raw stats do not tell the full story of this vehicle. If we're looking at DPM, pretty solid, 2,000 base, well 2,040 if you want to be exact. It has 75 average damage, not so great, but you do have a 2.21 second reload time, which means you can get that damage out quite quickly. Here's where the problems start though. You have a 0.39 base dispersion, so you're quite inaccurate, which makes a lot of these shots not hit. Right here you can see I am getting it off against the Leopard. However, you have a 2.01 aim time. So your aim time and your reload are almost exactly the same, which means if you move between shots at all, you're kind of stuck. So what this means is you have to sit still. Now if you sit still, you're going to have to take a lot of shots. And again, face value, it looks decent. 101 on the turret front and 101 on the hull front. However, if we look at the Cromwell Applique, it is completely flat. So you're not going to bounce pretty much anything. In addition to that, your standard pen is really not that good. It's 105 millimeters. Now on the T115, it was 125. And this is going to mean that you are going to struggle to pen a lot of tanks from the front. And you can't aim at weak points because the accuracy is so bad, and you can't sit out to fully aim anyway because your armor is so bad. Either I do get a lucky bounce against that Su-85, I don't count on that. The dispersion factors, are not great, not the worst in the game. When you're moving and turret traverse and all that, and your mobility isn't great either because you have a 40 top speed, you do have a almost 21 power to weight ratio, 20.69, but this tank just feels kind of sluggish. One benefit of the tank, though, is you do have 12.5 degrees of gun depression, and your gun kind of sits high. It doesn't sit that high, but you can see here the rate of fire coming into play. I'm sitting out in the open, and these shots are going every which way. You can see my aim time is actually longer than my reload because of my crude stats, which means at long ranges, you're going to have to wait and you can't use your full DPM. So you have to choose. Either you let the shell fly and potentially miss or don't pen the weak point, or you let it aim all the way in and you ruin one of the only decent things about this tank, which is the DPM. And it just makes it not that fun of a tank to play. You have 350 view range, so you're not going to get max view range. I wouldn't run Binox on this. I'm running a turbo, rammer, and vents. Now, you could take the rammer out and use improved aiming to try and, not worry about the DPM so much and more worry about shots on target. But for me, this tank, if you're going to pen it, you're going to pen the whole tank. You just got to let the shells fly. That's how I've been playing this. Play it more up close and personal. You can't fix everything about this tank, the aim time and the penetration and the accuracy all at once. So instead, I'm just going to focus on what this tank does do well and pump up that rate of fire as much as possible. And that brings mine up to almost, I think, 2,600 with a 1.82 second reload for 75 damage. You can do the math on that. Camo, it's really not great. 15.68 stationary and just under 12 moving. So, it's a low tier tank. Really the big thing on low tiers is the gun good. Now, I will say that in close range engagements, or when you have a tank at short to medium ranges, where you have the sign or it's a lightly armored tank, this tank does do very well. Because you have such a rapid rate of fire, you can cause crits like you would not believe. But again, you have to sit out in the open and you have to ensure that nothing's going to hit you while you're, throwing shots into the side of that tank or into the front of it or whatever. So double bushing is super important here. Now, we are in I haven't really gone over the game situation at all. It is a 4 versus 3 at the moment. and we're up HP and up a kill. And this was only a 9v9 match. So, a small game here at Tier 5. Everybody's Tier 5. So what I'm looking for right now, a little surprised that guy went charging down, but actually, and he was destroyed by a bot as well. You can see there's one bot on each team here. I'm going to go down here and look for this leopard, who's on low HP, and you're going to see the penetration issues come in just a little bit. Now, really, should I be auto-aiming? Probably not, but I'm focused on driving. We're going to bounce him, he's going to pen us again, and then we're going to kill him. We do take 125 from that leopard, which is going to leave us on 400 HP, taking a little shot from that AT2. It's funny seeing 67. I think that guy probably has a very similar gun to me that hits for 75. And we got him out. So now it is a 3-2-2. Churchill 3 is taking quite a few hits here. I think he's tucking in against the rails. I'm going to look for this AT2 and just look at the same time. And I'm just going to let it fly. Luckily, it does connect. That one misses. And I thought he was going to drop low, but he doesn't. So I'm just going to start slinging him. And the Zadmika finishes it, making it a 2v1, but the AT2 does finish off the Churchill 3, who has a fantastic game here, and now we just have to deal with this Wolverine, who may or may not be on full health. The tricky thing here is that Wolverine has got fantastic DPM, and he can easily charge through our Zendemika and myself. It'll only take him about 4 seconds to kill me, 4 or 5 seconds. He has a similar reload to me, but with 110 damage. I think he's got about a 2.2 or 2.6 second reload. But what he does have is much better accuracy. So instead of hopping up right on the ridge, I am going to go to the right side here and see if I can spot him. Now, I will tell you that you might be looking at my results here, being like, this is not really the greatest game, why'd you post this? Well, I struggled with this tank big time. This thing was a challenge to play for all the reasons we just spoke about. And so when I found a game where I did reasonably well, at least my hit points worth of damage, like, okay, you know, we're going to just roll with this, and it'll show what the tank can do, and also what it really struggles against. So I pop up, and I'm wondering where that Wolverine is. I'm going to let the Zendemika pop up, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get the auto lock, and just start slinging. There's 2, and I'm not going to quite grab him. So he's a one-shot. I can take a couple hits from him. He has got no armor. I am just going to go for him. He wants me to come to... This Cromwell very vocally wants me to come to, or have him come to us on the cap, but I'm not going to do that, because if he can spot us from a ridge somewhere, we're never going to see him. He's got much better camo. So I'm just going to go get him, pop over the ridge. He's not ready. I am, and he is going to be finished off by myself for my 3rd kill. So you saw here a little bit about some of the penetration and accuracy issues, especially at range, against that AT2, against the M4 in the pocket here. But you also saw what it was able to do against tanks like this Wolverine, where we got 2 quick shots off in succession, and then popped out along the ridge, as well as being able to get some nice DPM on that Leopard, despite the weird bounce. So, if you get better results in the Applique, and you have a suggestion on how I should play it, let me know. Thank you so much for watching. Keep a lookout for the 2-minute tank review here in the next couple of days, and I will see you in the post-game. Here, we finished with a victory, obviously, and second top on our team. Some of our blind shots did hit. 1,403 damage, 3 kills, 874 base XP, falling well shy of the Churchill, who got the great 1,332 base XP and a high caliber, so we were so close, 1 or 2 shots away from actually snagging that high caliber. We got 5... Oh, shit. Alright, post-game. So, obviously, we finished with a victory, making 97,516 credits and 7,000 XP after our bonus was applied. We killed 3 vehicles, shooting pretty much all of the enemy team, all but 1 tank, I believe. Second top on our team here on damage and on XP, just behind the Churchill, who had a fantastic game. And after everything, we made 93,000 credits. Obviously, because it's only a tier 5, we made 47,000, and 50,000 came from the reward. 330 free XP. So nothing too crazy here. Again, you know how I feel about this tank. I would not recommend it, but out of principle, I don't sell vehicles that are premiums, just in case they ever come back for sale. Anyway, keep a lookout for a 2-minute tank review, and thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.